Let me ask you something. Are you still using the same airport hacks you learned like 5 or 10 years ago? Well, if you are, that could be the single biggest travel mistake you make this year. See, airports are constantly changing the game, and a lot of those old tricks, they just don't work anymore. So let's break down what you really need to know right now. So I really have to ask you, are your trusted travel strategies actually holding you back? Because what used to be a really clever shortcut might now be the very thing that causes you a major headache. And look, we're not just talking about little inconveniences here. Following outdated advice in today's airports can lead to some seriously bad consequences. We're talking costing you time, costing you money, and maybe even costing you your entire vacation. Okay, first up, let's dive into the mistakes pretty much all of us make with the one device that's supposed to make travel easier, our phone. Mistake number 1, putting all your faith in that digital boarding pass. I mean, we've all done it, but it is such a huge gamble. Just think about it for a second. Your phone could die, the airport Wi-Fi could drop at the absolute worst possible moment, or the gate scanner just might refuse to read your screen. The simple pro move here? The second you get to the airport, just print a physical backup at a kiosk. Seriously, it takes 30 seconds and it can save you a world of stress. But okay, here's the really sneaky benefit you might not expect. When you go to print that pass, you often get a look at an updated real-time seat map. This is your golden opportunity to maybe swap to a better seat, an aisle or even an exit row that wasn't available when you checked in online. I'm telling you, this exact trick saved me in Bangkok when my phone decided to just update itself right at the gate. That paper pass was my hero. Okay, on to the next tech trap. You've taken a screenshot of your boarding pass. Now, that's smart for a backup, but it is a huge mistake if you're relying on it for your gate information. Remember, that picture is static. It's frozen in time. But airport logistics are anything but. So how do you actually stay in the loop? Well, there are 3 great ways. First, believe it or not, the old school flight information boards are still your most reliable source. Second, here's a great little hack. Text your flight number to yourself. It often turns into a clickable link with live updates. And third, use the airline's app, but you've got to make sure push notifications are turned on. Now, speaking of staying connected, this might be the most dangerous mistake of all. Just connecting to any unprotected public Wi-Fi. Scammers create these things called scam hotspots that look totally official. You connect to free airport Wi-Fi and boom, they get access to your passwords, your bank info, everything. It is a massive risk. And what happens if all that phone usage leaves you with a dead battery? You definitely can't count on every plane having working outlets. So here's my emergency hack for when every single charging station is full. Check behind the vending machines. I'm serious, there's almost always a spare hidden outlet back there. Hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? All right, so your tech is all sorted out, but what about the mistakes we make just waiting before we even step on the plane? Let's talk about mastering the waiting game at the gate. We've all been taught that the responsible thing to do is to get to your gate super early and just camp out right in front of the desk. It feels safe, it feels like the smart thing to do. But here's the reality. Doing that makes you a prime target. Gate agents have to find carry-on bags to check when a flight is full. And whose bags are the easiest to spot? The ones belonging to the people who've been sitting right in their line of sight for the last 2 hours. You've basically just volunteered your bag. So the pro move is to wait smarter. Once you've confirmed you're at the right gate, find a comfortable seat nearby but not directly in the agent's line of sight. The goal is to be this sort of invisible, prepared passenger. You're close enough to hear all the announcements, but you're not the first person they see when they need to start checking bags. And speaking of announcements, please don't tune them out. I learned this the hard way in Vietnam. I was on the phone, headphones in, totally zoned out, when my mom asked me, "Hey, are they calling your name?" They were. I had to sprint to the gate, I was the last person to board, and the plane literally took off seconds after I sat down. I almost got stranded. Now let's talk about the opposite problem, trying to get on the plane before your group is called. The airlines are really cracking down on this. These new automated scanners will reject your pass with a loud public beep, and you'll get sent to the very back of the line. Trust me, it's just not worth the embarrassment. Okay, for our final section, let's talk about the hidden traps. The subtle mistakes that can cost you a surprising amount of money or just completely ruin the start of your trip. Let's start with just a number. 10%. That's roughly how much extra you could be paying by using one of those currency exchange kiosks at the airport. They totally rely on that feeling of panic of needing local cash right now, and they charge a massive premium for it. The solution here is so simple. For most things, just use a credit card with no foreign transaction fees. But if you really need cash, just wait until you land and find an ATM at your destination airport. The rates are way better and the fees are much more transparent. Those kiosks, they're for absolute last resort emergencies only. Next up is a seemingly innocent mistake, trying those tempting duty-free samples. Just don't do it. First of all, they are a total germ fest. But more importantly, trying brand new skincare right before you get into a pressurized cabin for hours, that is a recipe for disaster. An allergic reaction at 35,000 feet is a nightmare scenario you do not want. And for our final mistake, let's talk security. The biggest rookie move you can make is assuming the TSA process will be the exact same as your last trip. The reality is that variability is built into the system on purpose. The procedures can and do change constantly, sometimes from 1 hour to the next. So while you might hear about fancy new scanners where you don't have to take out laptops or liquids, you can't count on it. For now, the classic 311 liquids rule is still the gold standard pretty much everywhere. Just pack as if you'll need to follow it and then be pleasantly surprised if you don't have to. So after hearing all of these, I'm really curious. What's your biggest airport pet peeve? Or what's the most stressful part of flying for you? You know, just thinking about these little frustrations is actually the first step to becoming a much, much smarter traveler.